Wait,
we got to pause there.
No,
we got to pause there. You've been voted out by the majority.
Okay.
Please return to your seat.
It's been fun. Oh, she had it. She had it. All right.
Dave.
All right. Hi.
Good to meet you. I'm
Good to
actually a
meet
big
you.
fan. I've been watching you since like all the way back in the Sam Harris era.
Oh yeah.
And then I remember you
softening me up. Okay.
No, you brought
okay.
on like Stephen Molyneux, like the white nationalist, and I was like, this guy just loves ideas. He just loves all different types of ideas. I love that.
Dave Rubin is gay. He has a husband. He has 2 kids. And he just sat in a room defending a political coalition that includes people who think his family, and I'm quoting directly, the most disgusting thing they have ever seen. Watch what happened when they make him face that. Let's get into it.
But yeah, just wanted to talk right now specifically about the difference between progressive values and the MAGA coalition.
Sure.
It seems to me that all of the ills that are attributed to wokeism are typically things that people find annoying. So people being overly, policey about their pronoun usage or talking about specific groups that might seem extremely marginalized. That's what I typically hear from the right. I don't hear like a degradation of like society unless it's the far theocratic right. And I don't think that you ascribe to that. Would you call yourself a theocrat?
I mean, I wrote the best-selling book on classical liberalism, so it's funny, I get called a conservative all the time. I actually happen to be a liberal in the truest sense of liberal.
You should join the circle.
And progressives are not liberal as a general rule of thought. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I just feel like that type of like annoyance that wokeism presents to the world is a lot less dangerous than like, I don't know, the coalition that you're a part of that like condemns people for having children when they're in gay marriages, or says things like, people that are of particular sexual orientations don't deserve the same equal rights.
Well,
would you say that that's something that's dangerous?
A coalition is going to have all sorts of people in it. So
it's like
MAGA, if we were talking
ideological diversity, right?
Yeah, if we were talking about what MAGA is, what I like about MAGA actually is that it's not a specific set of you have to believe this exact set, right? You have to believe these exact
some people in MAGA can
things.
believe like gay couples can have kids, and others can believe like that's degeneracy and those people need to be jailed. Well, those are like the difference of ideas.
Well, actually, the tough answer to that is yes. As long as you're not trying to litigate someone's life. I am around a lot of conservatives all the time, and particularly Christian conservatives, let's say, they generally are not for gay marriage. By the way, there's not one mosque in the United States that performs gay marriages, which is worth noting.
Why are you so focused on Muslims today?
Well, I'm just giving you giving you a fact. But what I have found consistently, Donald Trump was the first incoming first-time president that was for gay marriage.
I actually really want to talk about that.
Barack Obama was not for gay marriage when he first came in.
And not until 2013.
So what I would say is the MAGA movement, I mean, look, Scott Bessent, who's the Treasury Secretary, is married to a man and has kids. Peter Thiel is married to a man and has kids. Douglas Murray is one of the greatest voices we have in conservatism, happens to be gay.
Yeah.
I don't, for the most part, people on the right actually believe in individual rights and don't really care. But that doesn't mean
that doesn't
mean that everyone has to have the same religious perspective on everything.
But you've been around the block for a long time, and just like you alluded to, in 2016, Trump held up a flag that said LGBTQ for Trump. He was asked in a CBS interview, would you let Caitlyn Jenner use the bathroom that she wants to in your hotels? He said absolutely. He didn't have a problem with that.
He actually gave a better answer than that. He said, I'm a hotel builder. If you told me I had to build one bathroom, that would be fine with me. I think it's a great answer.
But that's what's crazy is that evolution has changed so much to the current MAGA movement. The MAGA
How do you
movement
see
today,
that?
Donald Trump would absolutely not say that somebody could use the bathroom aligned with their gender identity. He specifically banned that. And not just that, but he's also just called for, he specifically wrote an executive order that classifies far leftist groups like pro-transgender groups as a danger to the country, which often the entire military can go after. That is insane. That is absolutely a violation of people's individual rights.
And this is the contradiction Dave Rubin cannot casually explain away. Markets MAGA as a movement built around individual freedom. Yet, the challenger is describing a coalition increasingly comfortable with using government power to regulate identity, personal expression, and family life. Dave Rubin keeps naming gay conservatives who support Trump. But representation does not automatically erase policy. Having gay people inside the movement does not prove that the movement protects gay families. It can easily become a political cover for restrictions those same family will face.
All right, so you want to talk about the trans issue sort of broadly, I
want to talk about the MAGA coalition that claims to be pro-individual liberty, yet wants to police the way that people express themselves. But what are they doing? That also wants to police people's bodies, that want to go after people specifically because of their ethnicity.
Right.
None of that should be
Okay, so
tolerated.
Donald Trump is in the middle of his second term. Gay marriage is here, it's passed, it's a just
then
cause.
Why are
I believe in individual rights.
Wait, you're friends with Michael Knowles, right?
Yeah.
So what's that coalition again called? I think it's like Less Equal. That's trying to actually get rid of Obergefell and overton gay marriage rights. Does that not concern you?
Well, first off, I've never heard of that specific organization. But what I can tell you,
you're friends with them.
Michael is part of. I just don't know what you're talking about. But what I would
look it up right
but
now.
What I would
it's
say
called
is
Less Than.
No,
and it's Lila Rose, Michael Knowles. I think it's what's that guy's name at the Daily Wire, the head one.
Okay, but that's not Donald Trump.
I understand that you want to go away from this.
No, that's
topic.
not Donald Trump. That's not the head of the party. I have friends well, first off, Michael and I are friends, but there is a cap on our friendship. There actually is.
How are you friends with someone who doesn't want you to be in love, my man?
He doesn't want me to be in love. He's had dinner at my house with his wife. My husband cooked for him.
That's against God, so I want to have a word with him.
But think about what you're saying. I get
Dave,
it. No, think about what I'm saying.
But what I want to say
your
is,
name. Wait. Hold on, champ. You know, in your world of how tolerant you are showing me you're actually showing a remarkable amount of intolerance, because although I don't know the group that you're talking about, Michael Knowles as a human being has been to my house and my husband has cooked him lamb.
The lamb dinner, everyone. This is Rubin's entire defense of a friendship with a man who publicly called gay families, and I'm quoting directly, the most disgusting thing he has ever seen. Let that sink in. A private opinion, whispered at dinner, a public broadcast to millions and millions of followers. And Rubin's answer is that we had a nice evening and the lamb was good. This is not classical liberalism. This is not individual rights. This is a man choosing coalition loyalty over his own family dignity. And the room sees it. Even Dave Rubin does not want to say it out loud.
And we have enjoyed evenings together and shared personal moments and all of those things. Now, do we agree on absolutely everything? Of course, the answer to that is no. And if Michael or anyone else was trying to lead some organization that was going to go against my civil rights, well, that is where obviously we would have our difference of opinion, of course.
Dave, I
also respect people's religious beliefs. They're allowed to have their religious beliefs. Their religious beliefs are not allowed to legislate my life. This is all very separate from the trans thing, which obviously I sense is going to come up a few more times.
I'll just say real quick, I'm not trying to come after you. I believe that you should have the full liberty to have the family of your choice. But what I will say is I'm glad Michael treats you with respect individually when you guys are together. But when he goes in front of his platform and says that a video of two gay men having a child is the most disgusting thing that he's ever seen, which is a quote, you can look up the tweet. Michael said that child is in one of the most dangerous situations he can think of, which is crazy to think of all the abusive parents that actually live in this society, regardless of sexual orientation. And you're going to look at a happy family and say, this is disgusting. That should feel like a violation.
Okay, so I didn't see that video, but if what you're asking me is do I agree with, let's just say what you said is true, do I agree with Michael's point on that? Of course the answer is no.
But that is the MAGA coalition.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
That
is the ideology.
No, that's not the coalition. No, that's not the coalition. No, that's not the coalition.
That is what the administration is pushing
you're taking
towards.
A very specific person and you're saying.
Is it a small specific?
Oh,
is it
absolutely.
Yes.
No,
it is not.
Yes. Oh,
it
is.
A majority.
No, that's completely absurd. That's completely absurd. It's
Okay,
completely absurd.
We got to pause there. You've been voted out by the majority. Please
Give me
return
two.
to your seat.
Good grab.
I want to go to your prompt in a second, but I just wanted to address, though, I actually come from a Christian background. I spent a lot of my career debating Christian nationalists. And even the nicest Christian nationalists, they do want to take your rights. I spend a lot of time talking to these people, even the really nice ones. So I just want to be careful, and I guess I want to say, I remember when you posted about having your kids on Twitter, which congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
The comments were horrifying. I don't know if you remember, but it was Christian nationalists and Republicans tearing you and your husband down for having a child.
Well, you should also note there was a lot of love. There was an awful lot of love from an awful lot of conservatives and liberals and people across the board and everything else. The way the internet operates is people only focus on the negative. So Was there a whole bunch of nasty
Which
comments?
side did it
Was
come
there a
from
whole
more?
bunch of nasty?
Do you guess? Let's be honest. Let's just be honest. Which side supports
for
it
that?
more?
If you're asking me about for that specific post, it was
and
no.
liberals.
For that specific post, it was mostly people on the right, for sure. It was.
Who are attacking him?
Yeah, I
course.
fully acknowledge that.
Of course.
Absolutely. 99% of the hate that I get is from people that are in this circle.
99% of his hate comes from his own side. His children announcement was attacked by his own coalition, and in response to stay in that coalition and call it a big tent. This is the defining moment of this entire debate, not the Iran argument, not the DEI exchange, this very exchange. Because you can debate policy all day, but when a man admits that the movement he defends is the same movement that attacks his own children's existence, and yet he still defends it, that tells you everything about how powerful political identity is over personal truth. The room has won this debate, and deep down, Dave Rubin knows it.
Sure, but it's definitely not for being gay.
What?
It's,
it's
for supporting, going back to the prompt.
No.
It's for supporting.
It's not for being gay, like the act
authoritarian,
of gay.
desiring, probably demented old man. So going back to the prompt of wokeism, it seems like you defined it as intersectionality, some collectivization based on demographic factors.
We could basically
So
go with that.
wokeism is intersectionality.
It is a piece, intersectionality is a piece of wokeism. If you're going to group people on these immutable characteristics, and then you decide based on this, we got to put black people up here, we've got to put white guys down here, gays are going to be above the straights, trans will be above the gays, you have this endless hierarchy.
What policy harms have happened?
I mean, quite literally, the easiest one would be college admissions. I mean, we know that Harvard and other colleges were discriminating against mostly white and Asian students because they wanted more diversity, and they were allowing students of color with lesser grades to get in. As a general rule,
if we're worried about universities, who's cutting their funding?
Well, hold on.
Do you
agree that that happened?
To some degree, I think it was overblown to a large degree. Because affirmative action basically ended, I think, in the early 2000s, right? A lot of these issues were clamped down on pretty quickly. And the issue is that when you look at the reason why...
you could look at corporations. I mean, all these corporations that have their DEI stickers. I was just on a Delta flight. They still have their DEI sticker on there.
DEI is not inherently a bad thing. Why would diversity ever be a problem for anyone?
Well, diversity in and of itself is not a problem. But if you say
what about inclusion?
We are going to hire people and we are going to factor in all of these immutable characteristics inherently by saying we're going to elevate one group of people, you are going to have to discriminate against another group of people.
Have a diverse,
and that actually is racism and or bigotry.
Do you have a diverse, unique experience based on your gayness that other people will never have?
I'm sorry?
Does your gayness give you insight into certain experiences that other people simply will not have because they're not gay?
Well, I suppose as a gay person, I do have experiences that some people don't have.
And you probably have knowledge and experiences.
Did you not catch that?
I did get the joke.
You got that? Okay.
I mean, lots of people do all sorts of crazy sex. Yeah.
All right, yeah.
But the issue is that what we're talking about here when we come to diversity.
But I wouldn't want that to have anything. I wouldn't want that to have anything to do with me being hired. Or
but it's really hard to compare. So, sir, let's say I granted you all of the woke harms.
Yeah.
The issue is that it didn't take us to Iran. It didn't kill schoolgirls. It didn't right now crush with the FCC and kick multiple people off of air and threaten to pull things. It's not burning books in Florida.
Who's been kicked off air?
Jimmy Kimmel got kicked off of air. ABC was regularly under threat for doing these things. The FCC president came out after Trump called him and said that we can't have these type of things. They crushed James Talarico. But this has happened over and over again.
What do you mean? They crushed James Talarico. James Talarico is the nominee right now.
They crushed his appearance.
What do you mean they crushed his appearance?
The FCC wouldn't allow his appearance.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have literally no idea what
you're
talking
about.
We
got to pause there.
Yeah.
I think you're...
Here is the challenger, overreach, and finally give Dave Rubin a legitimate opening. Claims about broadcasters being removed, FCC interference, book being burned, and political appearance being crushed require clear evidence, exact examples, and precise explanation. Dave is right to challenge vague accusations. This does not rescue his earlier defense of MAGA treatment of gay families, but it proves why specificity matters. This challenger was the strongest when naming Knowles and his direct attacks. He becomes weaker when he stacks dramatical allegations faster than he can properly establish them.
Talking about Colbert's show, but you've been voted out by the majority.
Okay.
You guys are slow, bro. How's it going, Dave?
You're quick. How you doing? How you doing?
So I just quickly wanted to recognize, I love this, by the way. You have a very unconventional household, and wokeism has brought you that household, right? To live with your husband, to have your 2 children, who are conceived through surrogacy, and I appreciate that.
Wokeism didn't bring that. Equal rights.
So
brought that,
wokeism is,
equality.
as I define it, as I view it personally, is looking to expand on already existing civil liberties, right? To ensure that, to ensure America practices what it preaches, equal protections, inclusion of everybody, democracy, et cetera. So it's not a policy prescription, it's a social prescription. Donald Trump is president. He's the head of the executive branch. He has a trifecta, a judiciary that's on his side. Donald Trump's violent.
Okay, so the progressive just dropped the word violent to describe a sitting US president. And Dave Rubin, something very telling here. He does not push back on that specific word. He does not say that that is an outrageous claim. He pivots straight to, I just don't agree with anything you said, period. That is a deflection, not a rebuttal. Because what is actually happening in this moment is that Rubin's entire brand is built on the idea that the language on the left has gone too far. That words are being weaponized against him right now. That calling things violent when they are not violent is actually what wokeism does. And yet, when the word violent gets applied to his political leader, suddenly the response is not just prove it or define it. It is just flat out, I disagree. That same standard applies to the left, evaporates completely the moment it points in the same direction. That is not classical liberalism. That is selective outrage. And the room just caught it live. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. That is all for now, everyone. If you have enjoyed this breakdown, give it a like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And also, don't forget to like, hype up the video, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.
Donald Trump's destroying the pillars of America: democracy, negative rights, the rule of law, our Constitution. The list goes on and on. So I'm just curious to see, what institutional damage has wokeism done? And
sure,
if you want to engage with Trump being violent, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just don't agree with anything you said there, period. First off, wokeism isn't what led to, say, gay marriage. What led to gay marriage is a fight for equality under the law. If you believe that heterosexual marriage, that an adult should be able to engage in any sort of contract with another adult, then that has to be equal. That's what equal protection, which you just mentioned, is. And that's actually what the decision was based on.
Yes.
So that was not wokeism. That was the promise of America, which is the promise of individual rights and equal opportunity.